Hey, hey, and happy Tuesday. That's right, the day is Tuesday, but the question is whether or not it's a doozy and whether or not my sound's working the way it should. Sure it is. Oh, don't do that one. Don't you dare do that one. Now I'm gonna have heavy music. Nice. Well, I didn't mean to click that one, but we'll mess with it for a minute. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Yep. All right. It's definitely working. Well, sometimes you click the wrong thing. Just like sometimes I don't know, you make the wrong choices in life. Hopefully you learn from them when that happens, though. That's the goal. That's the mission. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy resuming Karma Yoga. This is Jay Balvale. Excited to read more of what Swami V's got to say. And I hope you're feeling the same. I hope you're truly feeling thrilled to resume our study. One true goddess, always so great to see you. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Pretty good for me so far. So, if you're new and you end up enjoying this content, well, welcome and please hit a like, share, subscribe. Let's get our music playing. And let me think, what kind of yap do I have for you today? Do I have any good yaps for you? Do I have any good rants to go on? I don't know, not really. Not really. My cat's hanging out with me though. That she usually is, but she's like right here. But don't worry, no heat, no cat and heat, so that's gonna mean no disruptions. So actually, the last two chapters we have are about the same amount as yesterday, but I think I would rather still split it up. Do one today, one tomorrow, and then if anything, they'll be a bit shorter streams. Welcome in, all of you just coming in. Eric Curry, hello to you. Welcome, and I hope you're having a great day. So yeah, we could probably do like two shorter streams would be good, I think. I like to keep it a little on the shorter side sometimes. Even though an hour and a half, 2 hours really isn't so bad. But if we have some like 30 minuters, 45 minuters mixed in there, that's also pretty good too. So let's pull our tarot card and then let's see. Let's see what Swami V's got to say. Tuesday, huh? It's a rainy Tuesday for me. I wonder where it is, how it is, and what it is for you, where you're at. Maybe it's snowing. Maybe you're in the Northeast. I swear I saw that the Northeast was getting some good snow, but maybe that's already changed. Either way, I got hairs all over. I gotta get taken care of. That's what happens when you're hairy and so are your animals. Anyway, all right. So let's shuffle these cards up. Let's see what they want us to know for the day. Any good yaps? Not really. I've mostly just been kind of chilling, kind of sitting in silence for the most part, contemplating these teachings as well as trying to put them into practice. Yudurkis Centeno, hello, welcome in. I hope you're having a great day. All right, cards. All right, Book of Thoth. What's our Tuesday message? Is it another card you've already given us a bunch of times, or are we going to mix things up? Well, we'll find out. Man, where does this hair come from sometimes? Well, my head, my pets, but sometimes I swear it just appears out of nowhere. And Rowena Maulin, welcome. Hello to you. I hope you're having a great day. And to those of you who just popped in, welcome. I hope you're having a great day. All right, one more shuff and then let's pull it. That's pretty good shuffled up after this one. Okay, cut the deck, card right there. Water. It's water. Nope. Well, it is kind of. Queen of Wands. Okay, we've had her pop up a little bit before, which is water. That's the watery aspect of fire. Queens being water, wands being fire. Now this particular queen is doing what I just said. She's got her eyes closed. She's going inside. She's focusing on that silence, that stillness, that pine cone staff in her hand, symbolic of the pineal gland, the third eye. And that cheetah or leopard there, she's got her hand placed upon right there, showing that she has her animal nature in check. Water and fire also traditionally being looked at as the alchemy, bringing together that fire and water, making that hexagram in perfection, that feminine, that masculine. So, well, and when that comes about in a bad way, then we get steam, right? But when that comes about in a good way, we can get a rainbow. When light hits that mist just right, that mist of the waterfall. Huh. Well, I'm getting a more positive vibe off this particular reading, so I wouldn't say steam. I would say that our alchemical efforts have been paying off. So good. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hopefully, that's because you've been putting into practice what we've been studying, and you're finding that it's benefiting you. I know for a few of you that's definitely the case, but I'm certainly always encouraging that for all of you who engage with my channel because I believe in you all so very much. It's true. I do. But you guys know that. All right. So, and we'll see how that lines up with our reading today, too. I'm sure it will because this chapter is entitled Freedom. Chapter 7 today we'll be doing. Freedom. There it is. And so I know that Swami's going to probably mention a little bit about the freedom of that animal nature. A lot of us are so easily driven by that animal nature. And so not just any animal there in that tarot card we saw, but if it is a cheetah, well, that's the fastest land mammal, right? Those cheetahs go really fast. So perhaps you've been finding your animal nature doing that exact thing, just hopping all around the place, one thing to the next to the next, one carnal desire after another, and you're making the efforts necessary to slow that down, to put your loving touch upon it and say, I'm going to master you. No more of this. We'll see. We'll see how it syncs up. So, anyway, chapter 7 Freedom. In addition to meaning work, we have stated that psychologically the word karma also implies causation. Any work, any action, any thought that produces an effect is called karma. Thus, the law of karma means the law of causation, of inevitable cause and sequence. Wheresoever there is a cause, there an effect must be produced. This necessity cannot be resisted, and this law of karma, according to our philosophy, is true throughout the whole universe. Whatever we see or feel or do, whatever action there is anywhere in the universe, while being the effect of past work on the one hand, becomes, on the other, a cause in its turn, and produces its own effect. It is necessary, together with this, to consider what is meant by the word law. By law is meant the tendency of a series to repeat itself. That's important. That's real. And so it's up here. Any work, any action, any thought that produces an effect. It's called karma. By law is meant the tendency of a series to repeat itself. When we see one event followed by another, or sometimes happening simultaneously with another, we expect this sequence or coexistence to recur. Our old logicians and philosophers of the Jnana school call this by the name of Vyapati, or Vyapti. According to them, all our ideas of law are due to association. A series of phenomena becomes associated with things in our mind in a sort of invariable order, so that whatever we perceive at any time is immediately referred to other facts in the mind. Any one idea, or according to our psychology, any one wave that is produced in the mind stuff, chitta, must always give rise to many similar waves. Okay, and we saw that on that Queen of Wands upon her head, where those different rays, those different waves coming out. But since she's a bit more in that mastered state, well, that goes into what he already said a little bit in this book as well, especially in terms of those good or evil type of waves, right? This is the psychological idea of association, and causation is only an aspect of this grand pervasive principle of association. This pervasiveness of association is what is, in Sanskrit, called vyapti. In the external world, the idea of law is the same as in the internal. The expectation that a particular phenomenon will be followed by another, and that the series will repeat itself. Really speaking, therefore, law does not exist in nature. Practically, it is an error to say that gravitation exists in the earth, or that there is any law existing objectively anywhere in nature. Law is the method, the manner in which our mind grasps a series of phenomena. It is all in the mind. Shoot. Keep. Is that true? Is that true, Swami V? Certain phenomena happening one after another or together and followed by the conviction of the regularity of their recurrence, thus enabling our minds to grasp the method of the whole series constitute what we call law. The next question for consideration is what we mean by law being universal. Our universe is that portion of existence which is characterized by what the Sanskrit psychologists call desha kala namitta, or what is known to European psychology as space, time, and causation. This universe is only a part of infinite existence, thrown into a peculiar mold composed of space, time, and causation. It necessarily follows that law is possible only within this conditioned universe. Beyond it, there cannot be any law. When we speak of the universe, we only mean that portion of existence which is limited by our mind, the universe of the senses, which we can see, feel, touch, hear, think of, imagine. Oh, buddy. That alone But this alone is under law. But beyond it, existence cannot be subject to law because causation does not extend beyond the world of our minds. Anything beyond the range of our mind and our senses is not bound by the law of causation, as there is no mental association of things in the region beyond the senses, and no causation without association of ideas. Highlight all that. Swamp. It is only when being or existence gets molded into name and form that it obeys the law of causation and is said to be under law, because all law has its essence in causation. Therefore, we see at once that there cannot be any such thing as free will. The very words are a contradiction, because will is what we know, and everything that we know is within our universe, and everything within our universe is molded by the conditions of space, time, and causation. Oh, buddy, they don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't like to hear that. They don't want to. It's even in the Matrix. I swear, it's in the Matrix. Because yeah, I can see Keanu saying it right now, where they asked him about believing in free will or fate. Actually, I think is how it's worded. If he believes in fate or destiny, and he said no because I don't like the thought that I'm not really in control. And yep, that can be a really frightening thing to try to wrap your mind around. Everything that we know or can possibly know must be subject to causation, and that which obeys the law of causation cannot be free. It is acted upon by other agents and becomes a cause in its turn. But that which has become converted into the will, which was not the will before, but which, when it fell into this mold of space, time, and causation, became converted into the human will, is free. And when this will gets out of this mold of space, time, and causation, it will be free again. From freedom, it comes and becomes molded into this bondage, and it gets out and goes back to freedom again. The question has been raised as to from whom this universe comes, and in whom it rests, and to whom it goes. And the answer has been given that from freedom it comes, in bondage it rests, and goes back into that freedom again. Oh no, page 111. Oh no, dude, that number already was popping up for me in a heavy way today. Goodness gracious. These goddesses, they'll get you. So, when we speak of man as no other than that infinite being which is manifesting itself, we mean that only one very small part thereof is man. This body and this mind which we are only one part of the whole. Only one spot of the infinite being. This whole universe is only one speck of the infinite being, and all our laws, our bondages, our joys and our sorrows, our happinesses and our expectations are only within this small universe. All our progression and digression are within its small compass. So you see how childish it is to expect a continuation of this universe, the creation of our minds, and to expect to go to heaven, which after all must mean only a repetition of this world that we know. You see at once that it is an impossible and childish desire to make the whole of infinite existence conform to the limited and conditioned existence which we know. When a man says that he will have again and again this same thing which he is having now, Or, as I sometimes put it, when he asks for a comfortable religion, you may know that he has become so degenerate that he cannot think of anything higher than what he is now. He is, he is just his little present surroundings and nothing more. Yep, and that right there is why I say that a lot of these people are not doing themselves a whole lot of favors by the way they're approaching things. Because, as Travis said, if you're doing this stuff right, you should more often be looking at yourself and asking, what have I done? It is a very uncomfortable thing. It is a very uncomfortable thing. And you will have times, you certainly will have times where you'll look back and you might feel a sense of longing, you might feel a sense of mourning for the deaths that you have found yourself going through, the person you once thought you knew, the life you once thought you knew, all the comfortable little the ways that you fought so hard to keep yourself in your bubble just got popped. He has forgotten his infinite nature, and his whole idea is confined to these little joys and sorrows and heart jealousies of the moment. He thinks that this infinite thing, or that this finite thing, is infinite. And not only so, he will not let this foolishness go. He clings on desperately unto Trishna, the thirst after life, what the Buddhists call tanha and tisa. There may be millions of kinds of happiness and beings and laws and progress and causation, all acting outside the little universe that we know. And after all, the whole of this comprises but one section of our infinite nature. To acquire freedom, we have to get beyond the limitations of this universe. It cannot be found here. Yowza. Oh, come on. The Star Seeders convinced me if I just go to the Pleiades, then I'll finally have the happiness I seek. Come on, Swami V. Don't pop my bubble. Perfect equilibrium, or what the Christians call the peace that passeth all understanding, cannot be had in this universe, nor in heaven, nor in any place where our mind and thoughts can go, where the senses can feel, or which the imagination can conceive. No such place can give us that freedom, because all such places would be within our universe, and it is limited by space, time, and causation. There may be places that are more ethereal than this earth of ours, where enjoyments may be keener, but even those places must be in the universe and therefore in bondage to law. So we have to go beyond. And real religion begins where this little universe ends. These little joys and sorrows and knowledge of things in there, and the reality begins. Yep. So see, even though Thomas à Kempis was wording it in a Christian way, he was saying this exact same thing. So even if he was using terminology that sounds Christian, he was saying this exact same stuff. Until we give up the thirst after life, the strong attachment to this, our transient conditioned existence, we have no hope of catching even a glimpse of that infinite freedom beyond. It stands to reason, then, that there is only one way to attain to that freedom, which is the goal of all the noblest aspirations of mankind. And that is by giving up this little life, giving up this little universe, giving up this earth, giving up heaven, giving up the body, giving up the mind, giving up everything that is limited and conditioned. If we give up our attachment to this little universe of the senses or of the mind, we shall be free immediately. The only way to come out of bondage is to go beyond the limitations of law, to go beyond causation. Oh, yeah. And I mentioned the movie The Holy Mountain recently too. The scene when they're having the death ritual. Return what was loaned to you. The grave receives you with love. All of your family, all of your friends, all of your desires, your bondages, they are alone. Return them. But it is a most difficult thing to give up the clinging to this universe. Few ever attain to that. Better highlight that real quick. There are two ways to do that mentioned in our books. One is called the neti neti. Not this, not this. The other is called iti, this. The former is the negative, and the latter is the positive way. The negative way is the most difficult. It is only possible to the men of the very highest, exceptional minds and gigantic wills who simply stand up and say, no, I will not have this. And the mind and body obey their will, and they come out successful. But such people are very rare. The vast majority of mankind choose the positive way, the way through the world, making use of all the bondages themselves to break those very bondages. That's what we've already been saying in this study, that you don't know how much is enough until you've had more than enough. This is also a kind of giving up, only it is done slowly and gradually by knowing things, enjoying things, and thus obtaining experience and knowing the nature of things until the mind lets them all go at last and becomes unattached. The former way of obtaining non attachment is by reasoning, and the latter way is through work and experience. The first is the path of Jnana Yoga and is characterized by the refusal to do any work. The second is that of Karma Yoga, in which there is no cessation from work. Everyone must work in the universe. Only those who are perfectly satisfied with the self, whose desires do not go beyond the self, whose mind never strays out of the self, to whom the self is all in all, only those do not work. That line right there, that line right there, is why I say that it's just pretty easy to see what type of time people out here are really on. A current rushing down of its own nature falls into a hollow and makes a whirlpool. And after running a little in that whirlpool, it emerges again in the form of the free current to go on unchecked. Each human life is like that current. It gets into the world, gets involved in this world of space, time, and causation, whirls round a little, crying out, my father, my brother, my name, my fame, and so on, and at last emerges out of it and regains its original freedom. The whole universe is doing that. Whether we know it or not, whether we are conscious or unconscious of it, we are all working to get out of the dream of the world. Man's experience in the world is to enable him to get out of its whirlpool. What is karma yoga? The knowledge of the secret of work. We see that the whole universe is working. For what? For salvation, for liberty, from the atom to the highest being, working for the one end, liberty for the mind, for the body, for the spirit. All things are always trying to get freedom, flying away from bondage. The sun, the moon, the earth, the planets, all are trying to fly away from bondage. The centrifugal and the centripetal forces of nature are indeed typical of our universe. Instead of being knocked about in this universe and after long delay and thrashing, getting to know things as they are, we learn from Karma Yoga the secret of work, the method of work, the organizing power of work. A vast mass of energy may be spent in vain if we do not know how to utilize it. Karma Yoga makes a science of work. You learn by it how best to utilize all the workings out of this world. Excuse me, all the workings of this world. Work is inevitable, it must be so, but we should work to the highest purpose. Karma Yoga makes us admit that this world is a world of 5 minutes, that it is a something we have to pass through, and that freedom is not here, but is only to be found beyond. To find the way out of the bondage of the world, we have to go through it slowly and surely. There may be those exceptional persons about whom I just spoke, those who can stand aside and give up the world, as a snake casts off its skin and stands aside and looks at it. There are no doubt these exceptional beings, but the rest of mankind have to go slowly through the world of work. Karma Yoga shows the process, the secret, and the method of doing it to the best advantage. Well, thank goodness for that. All right, let's see. Work is inevitable. It must be so, but we should work to the highest purpose. What does it say? Work incessantly, but give up all attachment to work. Do not identify yourself with anything. Hold your mind free. All this that you see, the pains and the miseries, are but the necessary conditions of this world. Poverty and wealth and happiness are but momentary. They do not belong to our real nature at all. Yeah, so then there you go. If all these master magicians were so master, then why would they be selling these expensive courses? Why would they be so concerned with all this money to be made? All this, oh look, this spirit taught me to give up my day job and I can make all this money by being over here online, an occultist. Oh boy. Our nature is far beyond misery and happiness, beyond every object of the senses, beyond the imagination. And yet we must go on working all the time. Yeah, 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 I know. You need to put bread on your table. Cool, go get an actual job. Misery comes through attachment, not through work. As soon as we identify ourselves with the work we do, we feel miserable. There you go. And what do you think they're doing? What do you think they're doing? Why do you think they all have this image looking like Mr. T with 19 pentagram necklaces on? And oh, goodness. But if we do not identify ourselves with it, we do not feel that misery. If a beautiful picture belonging to another is burnt, a man does not generally become miserable. But when his own picture is burnt, how miserable he feels. Why? Both were beautiful pictures, perhaps copies of the same original, but in one case, very much more misery is felt than the other. It is because in one case he identifies himself with the picture, and not in the other. This I and mine causes the whole misery. With the sense of possession comes selfishness, and selfishness brings on misery. Every act of selfishness or thought of selfishness makes us attached to something, and immediately we are made slaves. Dude, that's what I've been saying. Been saying. Each wave in the cheetah that says, I and mine, immediately puts a chain around us and makes us slaves. And the more we say, I and mine, the more slavery grows, the more misery increases. There you go. There's a key. Look, he's explaining the devil card right there. Where is it? It's right here. It's right here in my other book, my Bible book. which would upset too who? People who are attached to their identity surrounding the Bible. Look, right there. He's got the flame on his tail that the devil's using to light his torch. This devil's got them bound up. They're on these chains, but they can take these chains off anytime they want. But they like their chains. Look, they're nice gold chains. Oh, we love a gold chain, don't we? Heck yeah, we do. Gold chain looks sick. Gold chain looks ballin'. But are you identifying yourself with that gold chain, with your 15 pentagram necklaces that you consecrated to all the demons of the Goetia? Therefore, Karma Yoga tells us to enjoy the beauty of all the pictures in the world, but not to identify ourselves with any of them. Yup. So just go look at a lot of these people's Instagram too. Right in their bio, talking about, I'm a LHP goetic sorcerer. I'm a tantric witch. Oh my goodness, you're just a big headache, is what you are. Never see, even there's some of my bondage. I just gotta let them go. I just gotta let them be. Sorry, God. Never say mine. Whenever we say a thing is mine, misery will immediately come. Do not even say my child in your mind. Possess the child, but do not say mine. If you do, then will come the misery. Do not. So I've been practicing with my cat. I've been practicing this a lot. You know, my loved ones too, but especially my cat. Right here, I'm saying mine, right? But the cat there. With I've been practicing this with the cat because I know this animal's going to die at some point. I love this animal very, very much. It's going to be a sad day. But the more I identify with this cat and all of that, just the more misery it's going to bring. So start practicing that in your life in little ways, and then start building up to the bigger ways. Put Create little rituals for yourself, little death rituals where you have to bury something or someone you love. Find a picture that really means a lot to you. Maybe make a copy of it first and burn it up regularly. Stuff like that. Or don't. Do what thou wilt. The whole difficulty is there. The body is neither yours nor mine nor anybody's. These bodies are coming and going by the laws of nature, but we are free, standing as witness. This body is no more free than a picture or a wall. Why should we be attached so much to a body? If somebody paints a picture, he does it and passes on. Do not project that tentacle of selfishness. I must possess it. As soon as that is projected, misery will begin. And that's again the devil, right? The devil and his tricks. That's why that card is the way it is, because for all intents and purposes, you have bound yourself to the devil. You have bound yourself to sin. You have bound yourself to misery. You have bound yourself to wickedness. You have bound yourself to a monster who feeds off you. So Karma Yoga says, first destroy the tendency to project this tentacle of selfishness. And when you have the power of checking it, hold it in and do not allow the mind to get into the ways of selfishness. Then you may go out into the world and work as much as you can. Mix everywhere, go where you please. You will never be contaminated with evil. There is the lotus leaf in the water. The water cannot touch and adhere to it. So will you be in the world. This is called vairagya, dispassion or non attachment. I believe I have told you that without non attachment, there cannot be any kind of yoga or magic. But boy, oh boy, a lot of people are really attached to that thing that's supposed to be making you not attached. Shut up, Jay. Non attachment is the basis of all the yogas. The man who gives up living in houses, wearing fine clothes, and eating good food, and goes into the desert may be a most attached person. His only possession, his own body, may become everything to him. And as he lives, he will be simply struggling for the sake of his body. Non attachment does not mean anything that we may do in relation to our external body. It is all in the mind. Stop to highlight that one real quick. The binding link of I and mine is in the mind. If we have not this link with the body and with the things of the senses, we are non attached, wherever and whatever we may be. A man may be on a throne and perfectly non attached. Another man may be in rags and still very much attached. First, we have to attain this state of non attachment and then to work incessantly. Karma Yoga gives us the method that will help us in giving up all attachment, though it is indeed very hard. Dang, and I swear one of these other books where they were talking about, maybe it was the Bihar one, Samat Ram, where they were saying Karma Yoga is the easiest yoga. So goodness gracious, if it's the easiest yoga and he's still saying it's very hard. Well, just really think on it. Just really think on it. The great work, right? Here are the two ways of giving up all attachment. The one is for those who do not believe in God or in any outside help. They are left to their own devices. They have simply to work with their own will, with the powers of their mind and discrimination, saying, I must be non attached. For those who believe in God, there is another way, which is much less difficult. They give up the fruits of work unto the Lord. They work and are never attached to the results. Right. This is all God. This is God's thing. I'm just a character in God's movie. So why should I worry? Why should I worry about all the nonsense? Why should I worry about all the people out here on some silly time? Yeah, that's a good question, Jay. Go ask yourself that some more today. Whatever they see, feel, hear, or do is for Him. For whatever good work we may do, let us not claim any praise or benefit. It is the Lord's. Give up the fruits unto him. Right. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Let us stand aside and think that we are only servants obeying the Lord, our Master, and that every impulse for action comes from him every moment. Whatever thou worshipest, whatever thou perceivest, whatever thou doest, give up all unto him and be at rest. Let us be at peace, perfect peace with ourselves, and give up our whole body and mind and everything as an eternal sacrifice unto the Lord. There you go. All phenomena are sacraments. What the goddess wrote in here when she read it to me. Instead of the sacrifice of pouring oblations into the fire, perform this one great sacrifice day and night, the sacrifice of your little self. In search of wealth in this world, thou art the only wealth I have found. I sacrifice myself unto thee. In search of someone to be loved, thou art the only one beloved I have found. I sacrifice myself unto thee. Let us repeat this day and night and say, nothing for me, no matter whether the thing is good, bad, or indifferent. I do not care for it. I sacrifice all unto thee. There, I'll give you a little tip. Here's how you actually do the eclectic thing. Is exactly that. So say you're doing some of the HGA stuff. Say you're doing that chaos magic method that I gave you. So you're doing, but you're still doing a daily invocation of the Bornless One. Well, add this, what he just said here, as another small invocation slash prayer unto your holy guardian angel, unto your capital S self. That's why I really will listen to the handfuls of different lectures and types of different types of spirituality, Sufism, Hinduism, Christianity, whatever. Because if you really know how to do the eclectic thing, instead of just go put on your Instagram bio that you're 50 different types of a magician, then you realize that there is just all kinds of beneficial things that you can add into your practice without writing some grimoire about it, just doing it in part of your practice, and you will benefit greatly from it. Day and night, let us renounce our seeming self until it becomes a habit with us to do so, until it gets into the blood, the nerves, and the brain. And the whole body is every moment obedient to this idea of self renunciation. Go then into the midst of the battlefield with the roaring cannon and the din of war, and you will find yourself to be free and at peace. Excuse me, free and at peace. Karma Yoga teaches us that the ordinary idea of duty is on the lower plane. Nevertheless, all of us have to do our duty. Yet we may see that this peculiar sense of duty is very often a great cause of misery. Duty becomes a disease with us. It drags us ever forward. It catches hold of us and makes our whole life miserable. It is the bane of human life. This duty, this idea of duty, is the midday summer sun which scorches the innermost soul of mankind. Look at those poor slaves to duty. Duty leaves them no time to say prayers, no time to bathe. Duty is ever on them. Right, you see all people all the time. Oh, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do a pentagram ritual. I don't have time to do. You do though. I know you do got a lot of other stuff to worry about. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying we make time for what's important to us. They go out and work. Duty is on them. They come home and think of the work for the next day. Duty is on them. It is living a slave's life, at last dropping down in the street and dying in harness like a horse. This is duty as it is understood. The only true duty is to be unattached and to work as free beings, to give up all work unto God. All our duties are his. Blessed are we that we are ordered out here. Mhm. We serve our time. Like Alice in Chains, right? I think that was Alice in Chains. I did my time. Whether we do it ill or well, who knows? Oh no, actually, I think that might be Pantera. Now I gotta look it up. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's Corn. There we go. Well, either way, sick metal band. Either way, that's right. It's Corn. Did my time. Man, Corn was so sick. If we do it well, we do not get the fruits. If we do it ill, neither do we get the care. But at rest, be free and work. This kind of freedom is a very hard thing to attain. How easy it is to interpret slavery as duty, the morbid attachment of flesh for flesh as duty. Men go out into the world and struggle and fight for money or for any other thing to which they get attached. Ask them why they do it. They say, it is a duty. It is the absurd greed for gold and gain they try to cover it with a few flowers. What is duty after all? It is really the impulsion of the flesh, of our attachment. And when an attachment has become established, we call it duty. For instance, in countries where there is no marriage, there is no duty between husband and wife. When marriage comes, husband and wife live together on account of attachment, and that kind of living together becomes settled after generations. And when it becomes so settled, it becomes a duty. It is, so to say, a sort of chronic disease. When it is acute, we call it disease. When it is chronic, we call it nature. It is a disease. So when attachment becomes chronic, we baptize it with the high sounding name of duty. We strew flowers upon it, trumpets sound for it, sacred texts are said over it, and then the whole world fights. And men earnestly rob each other for this duty's sake. Duty is good to the extent that it checks brutality. To the lowest kinds of men who cannot have any other ideal, it is of some good. But those who want to be karma yogis must throw this idea of duty overboard. There is no duty for you and me. Whatever you have to give to the world, do give it by all means, but not as a duty. Do not take any thought of that. Be not compelled. Why should you be compelled? Everything that you do under compulsion goes to build up attachment. Oh goodness, and social media, all this propaganda out here, just getting people good. Why should you have any duty? Resign everything unto God. In this tremendous fiery furnace where the fire of duty scorches everybody, drink this cup of nectar and be happy. We are all simply working out His will and have nothing to do with rewards and punishments. That's why Jesus even said to God when he was going to be crucified, he said, Father, if there is any way you can take this cup from me, please take this cup, please. But if not by my will, then by thy will. If you want the reward, you must also have the punishment. The only way to get out of the punishment is to give up the reward. The only way of getting out of misery is by giving up the idea of happiness, because these two are linked to each other. On one side, there is happiness. On the other, there is misery. On one side, there is life. And on the other side, there is death. The only way to get beyond death is to give up the love of life. Life and death are the same thing, looked at from different points. So the idea of happiness without misery, or of life without death, is very good for schoolboys and children, but the thinker sees that it is all a contradiction in terms and gives up both. Seek no form a good action than we begin to desire credit for it. No sooner do we give money to some charity than we want to see our names blazoned in the papers. Misery must come as the result of such desires. The greatest men in the world have passed away unknown. The Buddhas, and you'll hear that in magic. You'll hear the people who have actually been around the block for a long while. A lot of them will talk about how sad that is, how they'll say, yo, there's actually been some very amazing magicians that some of these younger generations have zero clue about, because they came, they did their thing, and they went. And they didn't worry so much about having their name plastered all over the place, even though what they did was, for the people who knew them, the Buddhas and the Christs that we know are but second rate heroes in comparison with the greatest men of whom the world knows nothing. Hundreds of these unknown heroes have lived in every country working silently. Silently they live and silently they pass away. And in time their thoughts find expression in Buddhas or Christs. And it is these latter that become known to us. The highest men do not seek to get any name or fame from their knowledge. They leave their ideas to the world. They put forth no claims for themselves and establish no schools or systems in their name. Their whole nature shrinks from such a thing. They are the pure Sattvikas, who can never make any stir, but only melt down in love. I have seen one such yogi who lives in a cave in India. He is one of the most wonderful men I have ever seen. He has so completely lost the sense of his own individuality that we may say that the man in him is completely gone, leaving behind only the all comprehending sense of the divine. Huh. It might not be, but it makes me wonder if it's just some random yogi, or if that might have been Sri Ramana, because they would have been at the same time, and that would have been the time when Sri Ramana was just basically a nobody in a cave, doing just getting bit by ants and scorpions. Oh man. He has so completely lost the sense of his own individuality that we may say that the man in him is completely gone, leaving behind only the all-comprehending sense of the divine. If an animal bites one of his arms, he is ready to give it his other arm also, and say that it is the Lord's will. Everything that comes to him is from the Lord. He does not show himself to men, and yet he is a magazine of love and of true and sweet ideas. Next in order come the men with more rajas, or activity, combative natures, who take up the ideas of the perfect ones and preach them to the world. The highest kind of men silently collect true and noble ideas, and others, the Buddhas and Christs, go from place to place preaching them and working for them. In the life of Gautama Buddha, we notice him constantly saying that he is the 25th Buddha. The 24 before him are unknown to history, although the Buddha known to history must have built upon foundations laid by them. The highest men are calm, silent, and unknown. They are the men who really know the power of thought. They are sure that even if they go into a cave and close the door and simply think 5 true thoughts and then pass away, these 5 thoughts of theirs will live through eternity. Indeed, such thoughts will penetrate through the mountains, cross the oceans, and travel through the world. They will enter deep into human hearts and brains and raise up men and women who will give them practical expression in the workings of human life. These Sattvika men are too near the Lord to be active and to fight, to be working, struggling, preaching, and doing good, as they say here on earth to humanity. The active workers, however good, have still a little remnant of ignorance left in them. When our nature has yet some impurities left in it, then alone can we work. It is in the nature of work to be impelled ordinarily by motive and by attachment. In the presence of an act in the presence of an ever active providence, who notes even sparrows fall, how can man attach any importance to his own work? Will it not be a blasphemy to do so when we know that he is taking care of the minutest things in the world? We have only to stand in awe and reverence before him, saying, Thy will be done. The highest men cannot work, for in them there is no attachment. Those whose whole soul is gone into the self, those whose desires are confined in the self, who have become ever associated with the self, for them there is no work. I like that. Such are indeed the highest of mankind. Oh, come on. But apart from them, everyone else has to work. In so working, we should never think that we can help on even the least thing in the universe. We cannot. We only help ourselves in this gymnasium of the world. This is the proper attitude of work. If we work in this way, if we always remember that our present opportunity to work thus is a privilege which has been given to us, we shall never be attached to anything. Millions like you and me think that we are great people in the world, but we all die, and in 5 minutes the world forgets us. But the life of God is infinite. Who can live a moment, breathe a moment, if this all powerful one does not will it? He is the ever active providence. All power is his, and within his command. Through his command, the winds blow, the sun shines, the earth lives, and death stalks upon the earth. He is the all in all. He is all and in all. We can only worship him, give up all fruits of work, do good for its own sake. Then alone will come perfect non attachment. The bonds of the heart will thus break, and we shall reap perfect freedom. This freedom is indeed the goal of Karma Yoga. Gee, and that does it. That does it for that chapter. Chapter 7, Freedom. Goodness gracious, man. Now I gotta go sit and think about what I've done some more. Thanks a lot. There we go. If we work in this way, if we always remember that our present opportunity to work thus is a privilege which has been given to us, we shall never be attached to it. Oh boy. Goodness. All right. Well, one final chapter tomorrow. And that one ended up pushing us about an hour. So good. That's what we like. We like about a steady hour. Thought I might breeze through it a little quicker, but whatever. No big deal. So tomorrow we will finish up this book with the final chapter, The Ideal of Karma Yoga. Oh, hopefully you guys are liking this. And hopefully you're seeing the seriousness of all of this. Because it's one thing to dress up and play a magus on TV, to dress up and play a witchcraft demonologer on TV. I mean, I guess we're doing that either way, because like I said, we're all actors in God's movie. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who talk about it, and there's a lot of people who be about it. I'm sure some of the friends in this group will have encountered that for sure. Coming from all different walks of life, and you see that there's the people who talk about it, and there's the people who be about it. Well, I need to go sit and think about what I've done. And meme Salday. Wow, I'm not reading that out loud. But hey, man, do what thou wilt. Yeesh. I see. It didn't pop up on my other one, probably because that's the type of comment that usually gets stuffed down. Well, hopefully you understand the karmic repercussions of such an action. Boy, oh boy. All right, you guys. So much love to you. This has been Jay Balvell. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the final installment